Yes. Finally, so I'm back on live. Hey, Brown Girl Child, this is your girl, Drea. We had some technical difficulties earlier. I guess I had to update my program. But anyway, so this video is about my 6.5 month post laparoscopic myomectomy. That's a mouthful saying that right. Surgery that I had in March 30th. And I just want to first off big up to everyone who sent major love, light, healing, and prayers. Major shout out to those who sent emails, those who reached out to me, those who um, just reached out for some support and some guidance and some advocacy in regards to getting their fibroid removed, or just making sure that they were having the smoothest surgery possible. So much love and light to those who you know um, had the courage to reach out to me through email, and hopefully I helped everyone who came across my path. And don't forget to share this video, to like this video, subscribe to Brown Girl from Boston, because I'm going to be doing more videos on holistic health besides adding on to my entrepreneurship videos and personal development. And I just want to talk about like my post surgery, because I feel so much better. And the reason is in great timing that I did this video today, not only because I'm 6.5 months post surgery, but also to I'm coming across a lot of women, especially African American women, who are suffering in silence, or they're suffering by themselves, or they don't know what's going on with their bodies, especially after turning, in your 30s. And people think like, oh, this like amazing light switch goes on when you're 30s, like all these amazing epiphanies and life transition happens, but sometimes it can happen for the great, or it can happen for the worst. And a lot of times too, people swear up and down we living in post-racial America, which we are not. As you can see, the different negativity and toxic things that goes on with people of color on a daily basis. We are internalizing it. We are suppressing a lot of negativity and toxic behaviors from people because of what we look like, or how we sound like, or the way our hair texture is, or so many different factors that a lot of us are getting sick holistically. We're getting sick mentally, emotionally, and physically. So I just really would like to open up the dialogue and discussions on our health and how we are affected as a whole, and we're affected and connected, and how our families are being affected just by being sick. And I just really wanted to reach out to the sisters, because in my last readings of autoimmune disease, and even heart disease or cancer, and dealing with our reproductive system, 90% of African American women between the childbearing ages, so let's say between the ages of 30 to 50, so that's that premenopausal age, are being diagnosed on a daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly time frame on fibroids. And when you ask people, you ask these physicians, like, what are the causes for just, let's say, African American women to be diagnosed at an alarming rate? 90% is an alarming rate. So you're seeing like 90% of African American women are being diagnosed with fibroids, and no one has the answers. I think people have the answers, but they don't want to be honest. And a lot of times the answers are, we live in very stressful environments. We live in very unhealthy environments. We live in environments in which is environmental racism. So when I'm saying environmental racism, you have food deserts. That's racism. That's discrimination. Any type of ism. Okay, if you're not accessible to food, quality food. If you're not accessible to quality of water, you know, great healthcare, instead of going to free or low clinics in which you're going to get, you know, Not saying all the time, low quality services, or you're going to be put through like a factory. It's like boom, boom, boom. It's like a production. And it's like, okay, next, okay, next. We're not getting a proper diagnosis with mental health, or just being treated as science experiment. So, like this right now, for me going through that is one of my purpose and my missions, is to make sure that every woman that looks like myself, that looks like my mother, that looks like my grandmother, my great grandmother, my aunties, or my cousins, to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. Preventive healthcare is self-care. So that's my new mission. Also developing a buddy system to go to the doctor, and developing a system in which we're advocating for holistic health. Because not just me being affected with fibroids, but also too, my background's in social work, my background's in, coaching, holistic coaching. So I really want us to, as African American women, just to add that to sisterhood, right? We always talk about sisterhood, and we looking good and we looking fly, but a lot of times in the whole black don't crack. But a lot of times we're dying from stress, we're dying from sadness, we're dying because we don't have anyone to speak truth to power. And that's one of my missions. That's always been a mission of mine, to speak truth to power, to give that voice for the voiceless, and be that hope for the hopeless. Because of being a social worker and being a coach and all these cool things, but also being a black woman myself, and just having someone advocate for me when I can't advocate for myself, or someone saying, hey girl, like, go get your annual checkup. We don't have enough of those conversations because we're like clutching our pearls, thinking it's a taboo topic, because a lot of us haven't had great experiences with physicians, with gynecologists, or with any other specialists that we may have to see for different illnesses or different diseases. But now is the time to say, I don't have to deal with that. If you have to fire people and you have to move on, and if you got to go to, like, try, non-traditional, which should be traditional health, you got to heal yourself through the herbs, or you got to heal yourself through alternative practices, then do so. Don't just box yourself in your illness, and don't just depend on that one maybe misdiagnosis, or that one, hey, you're quote unquote crazy. It's on your mind because you're dealing with heavy periods, you're dealing with unexplained weight gain, you're dealing with a lot of fluid, you're dealing with on the verge of losing your mind because you're dealing with imbalance. And whenever you have any hormonal imbalance, that's going to affect your holistic self, that's going to affect your mind, it's going to affect your emotions. So don't just take no or all these other excuses laying down. Keep researching. If you are like, what, I cannot go on any further, call on someone who build that network, build that tribe of the Black sisterhood that can help you to propel forward. If you can't make those calls, have someone make those calls for you. So build like a team, like a healthcare team, a mental health care team, that's going to help you to move forward with your health, because your health is wealth, and your health is all that you have. Because if you don't have your health, you can't go secure the bag, you can't go get the coins, you're no good to your family, you're not good to yourself, your community, and you can't do all the dope things that you want to do, because you'll be like how I was, like in the bed, you're disgusted, you're not being an impact, and pretty much you just being unproductive. Is not no fault on your own, it's just what your body's telling you, like, you need to chill. And a lot of times too, we just need to chill out. A lot of times we need to rest, we need to say no a lot, we need to enjoy life, we need to explore different foods to eat. We need to back out of some unhealthy relationships. We need to know who to be loyal to and reciprocate that loyalness. A lot of times we're loyal to the wrong people, because we may have known them for a long time, or we went to high school with them, or we grew up with this person. But people show us, they tell us who they are. And if you're not reciprocating that balance, that love, that light, the healing, and they don't respect your boundaries, yeah, you're not gonna always be like running through like the lilies, like, yay, life is perfect. But if you're in a relationship and people are always causing some havoc or some type of dysfunction, it's time to to really, really evaluate yourself as well, and evaluate that relationship and saying, is it worth it? 9 times out of 10 is not worth it. So when I went through my whole healing after getting my thyroid removed, my fibroid removed, and also balancing out my thyroid, I did a lot of healing. No, my healing is not complete. No, it's not linear. No, it doesn't look prettier some days. Some days, I'm just doing the ugly cry. There are some days like I think back I think back and I blame myself like, man, I wish I would have did X, Y, and Z. Um, I blame myself, for just different shortcomings, but I have to also chill. And sometimes I also not only have to chill, but I have to process those emotions and process them through myself. Because a lot of times, you may have a spouse or you may have a whoever, they want to like fix it. But a lot of times, just fixing it's like putting a band-aid on it, right? But sometimes to really heal that wound, you have to pretty much let it expose for a while. And you have to say, I need to go through this, the pain in order for me to heal, in order for me to grow. It's growing pains. So, I did a lot of self-reflection. I did a lot of what I'm going to take and what I'm not going to take. I listened to it seemed like my intuition, because it's dealing with the root chakra. If you guys, deal with energies and deal with chakras, it felt like my root chakra was like finally grounded, right? And my intuition is so John Blaze. It's so John Blaze to the point. Anything or anyone that doesn't feel good to my spirit, I have to release it, because in the past I had not only suppress my own negativity, my own drama, my own dysfunction, my own unhealed things. But I also took on other people's stuff by being a social worker, by being a caring person, by being a daughter, by being a wife, by being whatever. And I had to really check that and be like, yo, that's a you issue. So shout out to my friend Michelle that taught me about you issue versus your own issue, right? And I just can no longer take on other people's baggage, not at 34, going into 35, not what I just experienced with, having fibroids, because I truly believe that our stress manifests into diseases. I really believe that what we eat, what we ingest through watching TV, what we listen to, our environments, that manifests into diseases. You may beg to differ, you may say something different, but that's my opinion on that. But if you want to challenge it, really think about like, okay, where do diseases come from? The foods that we eat. That's why I had to transition a lot of my foods. Like I had to transition and eat more. My diet wasn't bad before, but I don't eat fast food. Because I feel like you don't know whose hands are preparing it. And a lot of times it's not good for you. I eat more foods that is grown from the earth. So I eat more plant-based diet. I'm not going to put a title and say, oh, I'm a vegetarian, I'm a vegan. I'm cautious of the meat that I intake, because when you eat, meat, you don't know what that animal have ate, you don't know what diseases they may have had. You don't know if when they were slaughtered, which way they were slaughtered. You don't know what condition they was under while being, prepared for the consumer. Because we went away from, farming, especially if you live in the city. A lot of people think, oh, my meat comes from the supermarket. No, it comes from farms. And if it's not locally grown, you don't know. Like I remember, my parents being from Alabama. I remember like my uncle's neighbors and my grandmother's neighbors, they had a slaughterhouse. They grew, from the garden. And that's why I like living down south, because like a lot of people have gardens and you can go pick from the gardens, even though it's like people do fry their food and they fry the Oreos and all this other stuff. You still could be health conscious. You still have a choice on, what foods you're going to intake into your body. And so I made a conscious decision to really transition my diet. and to really not intake, you know, let's say slave foods. It's a big topic on slave foods, but foods that's killing us and that's developing more illnesses. Like you hear so many people like, oh, well, diabetes running my family. But a lot of times too, you can be the one to break the cycle just through diet, exercise, being mindful what you're intaking in your body. And that's going back to what you're watching and what you're listening to and what you're reading and who you surround yourselves with, right? Because a lot of times those things can manifest into other stuff that you're not willing to deal with. So I really transitioned my diet after my post surgery, which was good. So I eat more like 80% fruits, vegetables, nuts, beans. I already was like not eating dairy. So I've been drinking like coconut milk, almond milk, like when I was living in Chicago, like 7, 8 years ago. And just making sure that I'm eating and I'm taking more herbs. I'm even drinking moringa. Moringa, go check it out. Moringa. It's a powder that helps my iron to the next level. Like I don't feel lethargic. I don't feel like, oh my God, I just, I'm so tired. Whenever I drink moringa with my juice in the morning, like it's more powerful than drinking my coffee. I still drink my coffee, don't get it twisted, but that moringa is, you better go get it's the bomb. So I drink that. Like I said, I get more sun because you guys, I don't know if you guys know, but I moved to Alabama, so there's more sun, there's more warm weather. I go running, when I can. I go running and I make sure I do physical activity. And I feel like 1,000 times better now by incorporating just little lifestyle changes, just breathing, just journaling. I went back to journaling. My mind is more focused. I'm more clear. My skin is like so this my skin. I haven't had any acne, y'all. My skin is like the bomb at this point. And then I also wash it with active charcoal too. Like I love active charcoal. And I'll do another video on like the different things that I use, for the healing process. Lowering my stress, being more in tune with my body and with myself. Those things have really helped me post fibroid surgery, because I don't want to grow fibroids again. I don't want to go through that surgery again. I don't want to go through being put to sleep and not being in control, right? Even though God, Jehovah, whoever you call God, he was in control. He, she, or whoever was in control. I don't want to go through that again. Because that's more trauma on your body. That's more trauma on your mind. That's more trauma in your spirit. And I don't wish that on anyone. But that's my story on the post fibroid, and I hope everyone who watched the videos before, make sure you go watch the videos when I talked about death to my fibroid, even part 1 to the laparoscopic myomectomy. Like you'll see the progression from March 30th all the way to now. Like I said, I just want to provide the knowledge and be an advocate for women all over, especially African American women, women of color who are going through any type of reproductive, disease or surgery, especially fibroids, because I've been there. I'm studying a lot on how to really, become a fitness coach. Then I was featured in Health Magazine, which was so dope because I was very candid and very fearless and unapologetic about my story. Because a lot of times, we are so fearful, like, oh, I don't want people to look at me different because, I was diagnosed with this or, I dealt with mental health, with depression and anxiety. But that's my story. That was my story then, and that's still part of me. And why not share my story, or why not share your story to help someone else heal? Because there's so many millions of people who's going through the same thing, but they're looking for that tribe of people just to go to and be like, yo, thank you. I'm honored that you shared your story unapologetically. So why not be that vessel? Why not be that messenger to carry on that message. So if you're watching this, please, please, please reach out to me. If you're that person, you're suffering in silence, you have thyroid issues, fibroid issues, you're going through mental health issues because of the hormone imbalance, if you're trying to figure out how to like break free from sugar, how to live a balanced life, how to like heal your inner fly girl, please connect with me. You can email me at Drea, DREA, at browngirlfromboston.com. Please check out the rest of my YouTube videos. Please check me out on Facebook, Brown Girl from Boston. That's my Facebook page. Check me out on Instagram, Brown Girl from Boston. You can add me on Twitter at Brown Girl Boston. If you're interested in coaching services, as far as with healing your fly girl, so I could take you through nutrition, take you through the mental health aspect, the holistic aspect, pretty much how to like heal your incisions, how to what to do during that time frame when you're going through the healing process from the hospital on. I'm offering my services as far as that you even prepping you for the fibroid, the laparoscopic myomectomy, and just prepping other women who, okay, now you got to get this fibroid out. Which route are you going? Are we going to go the hysterectomy route? Are we going to go the laparoscopic route? What route are we going to go through? Because there's so many different surgeries you can get. But please, please, please reach out to me first, and then we can do the research. I have so much research I've been doing, and to which route is suitable for you. And I'm just the advocate. I'm just that advocacy piece that's going to help you, and that coach that's going to help you. And I will definitely be shipping out some self-care boxes to help you heal during, before, and after. So I'll be sending healing bombs that help me far as with vitamin E, affirmation cards that I said to myself, teas, and other holistic healing. So thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe to Brown Girl from Boston. And don't forget to shoot a comment. And don't forget to check out my magazine piece, the health magazine article that I was interviewed on. So much love and light to you guys. Peace.